abstract. Yeah, it's complicated. What you say, the way you act. Well, it makes me so confused. I don't know what to do anymore. Can't you just make up your mind? My heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there's a fight when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting, still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. How it hurts to see you smile, like a dagger hit me. She just seems so juvenile. I just want it to be me. I wanna set your world on fire. Oh, just so sure I'll stick around. Oh, my heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends, but there's a fight when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting, still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be. Oh, even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting, still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be. Oh, baby, I don't wanna be. No, baby, I don't wanna be. Baby, I don't wanna be.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Card Makers Success Summit. We are in our evening prime time with our live streams, updates, and giveaways. I just wanted to take a moment before I get into everything to thank you all for all of the kind comments that I'm seeing in the chat. And before, as the music is playing, I can read all of that that's coming through. And I want to let you know that it really does help because there is so much that it takes to put on one of these types of events. And Harriet and I usually only get the people that are mad at us in our support box. So I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm a little bit emotional right now. So it's really nice to see that you guys are enjoying it and that you're loving the summit, and that it's been a blessing in your life. So I want to thank you all for saying that. Occasionally we get people that'll email us and let us know what a great job we're doing, or that they really enjoyed the summit or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, those emails that come through are not so nice. So it's really nice to see you guys in the comments. And I just want to tell you that from the host perspective, as well as all of the speakers and the sponsors that go into putting on an event like this, thank you so much. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Harriet's telling me something. Let me take a look at what she's saying. She's saying it's a delay, but maybe it's just on her end. Fingers crossed that it's Harriet's internet, not the rest of y'all's, or mine, by the way. But I am plugged in. I got my charger in. I got everything is all plugged in, Harriet. So hopefully it's not on my side. All right. Okay, you guys, enough of all of that. Let's get into it. So we've got a few things here. One, I always want to remind everybody that you can find anything to do with the summit at Where Do I Find That page? And that link is listed right there on the screen. And I think Harriet's going to drop that into the chat so everybody can bookmark that. If you have any questions about where you can find things like the schedule, meet the speakers, meet the sponsors, any of those extra classes that we've been talking about this week, the application to apply for the scholarship for the Craft Biz in the Box, all of that you're going to be able to find right there in that. Where do I find that? All right. Okay. Next thing, we are going to talk about a class that I introduced earlier today. I've noticed that some of you guys are brand new to card making, and you have a lot of newbie questions, which I love. I love that we are seeing so many new faces to this industry, and I want to give you a resource. I have a course called, or a class, it's not really a course called Intro to Card Making, or Introduction to Card Making, I should say. And Harry and I were talking today, and we thought maybe it'd be a nice thing to share with you guys. And I'm going to do a discount of 50%. So there's a promo code up there and the link that goes specifically to that. And I think Harriet's going to also drop it in the chat box for you guys. So if you're a brand new card maker and you don't even know what the difference is between the different types of inks or the different supplies that you need, I think it would be a really good starter class for you to get your feet wet. And at the end of the class, we do make a very basic card using heat embossing, which is the technique that made me fall in love with card making. All right. Okay. So let's talk again about our giveaways. We're going to be doing lots of giveaways tonight. And I'm looking over here at something that Tonic Studios is going to give. And you guys are really going to want this. I'm just saying, Harriet and I have been fighting over who gets this. And I think we may be able to split it. So I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but let me tell you, it's going to be nice. Anyway, so make sure to know that you do not need to be present to win. We will be emailing everybody on Monday. You have 72 hours to respond. The email will be coming from support@stampmesomelove. So be sure to whitelist that email address if you think that you have won something, so your email doesn't get stuck in your spam folder. Please do not email us over the weekend because we will not respond to any giveaway type emails over the weekend because we're going to be emailing all of the winners on Monday. There are multiple ways for you to, there's multiple ways, I always say this wrong. There's multiple ways you can gain more entries to the giveaway, meaning more chances to win once you register, and then you go to the next page and there's lots of different activities that you can do to add more points, like follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you can do right now, and then that sort of thing. So if you go there, you can also kind of boost your ability to win one of the prizes by doing that. All right, let's talk a little bit about my next Zoom class. I have been mentioning this all week, but I want to make sure that nobody has missed out. I will be doing a live class on Zoom March 23rd, and it's going to be on birthday cards. And I'm just going to quickly show you some of the backgrounds. This is not the exact same design, but the same technique that we're going to be doing in the card class. And so this is with stencils and stencil butter. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And we're going to be using some stencil butter from the Creative Crafters Workshop. And I will be putting together a card kit to go along with this class. So if you've already registered, you'll notice that there is not a supply list yet. I am working on that as soon as I figure out what stencil we're going to use and which butter we're going to use, so I can put that together. And so that's just to give you an idea of what we're going to be creating. So if you're interested in getting tickets to that, be sure to check out that link below. You obviously don't have to purchase a card kit in order to participate. You can use your own supplies, or you can just come and hang out and kind of observe until you can get the supplies you need to recreate the cards. All right. All righty. Okay, I know that I've mentioned this a couple of times also, but Craft Biz in a Box is one of our presenting sponsors for the summit this week. And we are all about helping crafters realize their dream of creating a craft content creation business. And I'm going to be giving away 2 scholarships to our membership, which is a value of $6.99. If you're interested in learning how to create digital content like tutorials, videos, PDFs to sell, similar to what the speakers do here, they create those digital products and then they can turn around and sell that, similar to the live classes that I teach, similar to the summit that we produce. Those are all types of digital crafty type content that you can actually make money on if you do it right. And so I teach my method of how I have developed a 6-figure business doing craft content creation. So I'm offering 2 scholarships. There is a link there for you to apply for that scholarship. I will be reviewing, and I actually went through all of the applications that we've had so far, and I've been kind of looking at some. I'm going to be checking you guys out on social media and seeing, how active you are in the group, just so I can figure out who is going to best be served by this scholarship. I want this to be something that you're going to take action on. All right. Okay, let's see what time we'll get. Just a couple more minutes here. Let's see here. Let's do some giveaways. We are going to give away a $50 gift certificate to Taylor Expressions. And we had her presentation earlier today. So if you did not get a chance to watch that, be sure to go to our YouTube channel and check out our previous lives. And you'll be able to see that. I will also email everybody a link to that this evening around 9 o'clock. All right, so let's draw the winner for the $50 gift certificate from Taylor Expressions. All right, this one is going to go to Terry. Last name starts with a K and ends with an L. All right, so we have 2 more gift certificates that we're going to give away, and that is for TLC Designs. Let's do the first one, and this one's going to be for $5. All right, this one is going to go to Kathy. Last name starts with an S and ends with an R. All right, we've got one more. All right, this one is going to go to Susan. Last name starts with a K and ends with an A. Now, remember, you don't need to be present, but you do need to respond to that email on Monday. All right, now I do have something I want to show you guys. I think I mentioned this at least once in the kickoff call that we had on Wednesday, but I think it's important enough that we should probably mention it a couple of times. We are sponsors or partners with Barely Art and Cards for Cubs. And I'm just going to show you a little message from them about Cards for Cubs and see how you can get involved.
Cards for Cubs is a national crafting event that anyone can participate in, and it starts with crafters like you.
Make a difference in the lives of kids in foster care, one card at a time.
You can make handmade cards and send them to Cards for Cubs. Then we'll work with foster care agencies around the US to make sure that your cards get sent to those kids in need.
So how our partnership with Barely Art and Cards for Cubs works is that a portion of our proceeds is going to go back to them in the form of a donation, so they can so it will help cover their overhead expenses. And basically what we're asking you to do is to pledge that you will create so many cards, however many you want. I think they ask for minimums of 10 that you'll send off to them, and then they turn around and ship it out to foster agencies around the country so that they can get it in the hands of foster kids who really do need that little bit of positivity and inspiration. And so where there is a place for you to register on the website, and then you can choose where you heard it from. Be sure to choose Cardmaker Success Summit. We're trying to track how many cards we actually generate from our partnership this year, and it goes all through the month of March. So be sure to go over there sometime before the end of March and pledge how many cards you're planning to make. All right. So I just want to share with you guys and something else that one of our sponsors is providing with you guys. I can't even talk. Let me just show you what I got here. So I know I've mentioned this before, but this right here is my favorite glass mat. This is made from Glassboard Studios, and they just started personalizing them. So of course I had to have one that had our logo on it, but I love how it is magnetic. We get these little magnets here, and it's so great if you want to put your paper down on the card and then have it stay in place, and then you can do all kinds of things. You can stencil, you can ink blend, whatever the case may be, and it cleans up so nicely. Now, you can't really tell right now because I've got my lights super close to me right now. But when I do filming, if I can angle the lights just right, I don't get as much reflection as I do with my black mat. So I really like this for a creator content perspective as well. And they are offering 20% off when you purchase your mat. I keep forgetting not to look at the camera right there. When you purchase your mat and use the promo code SUCCESS20, and we do have a link there that will take you right to where you need to go. Put in the promo code and you're going to save 20% off. They don't do this discount very often. So definitely if you were thinking about grabbing one of these mats, and they have them in all different sizes. So it's not just this big giant one that I've got. You can get them in smaller sizes as well. All right, let's see here. I think that is it for our updates. I am going to see if Marie Heiderscheit is ready to come on. Are you guys ready? All right, she's giving me the big thumbs up, so let's bring her on. Before we do that, though, let's hear a short little message from Tonic Studios. I love that commercial. It's so peppy.
It is. It's a fun one.
Yes. Hi, Marie. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, we are just living the dream over here. Now, before we get started, I know that Tonic Studios is doing a special promotion. And so Harriet's going to splash that up on the screen and drop some links in our chat. And remember, you guys, you know, these things tend to sell out when we do these live streams. So be sure to go ahead and get that link open. So you've got one screen over here where you can do your shopping, and then the other screen that you can watch Marie do her project. And definitely want to take advantage of the discount that they are providing. So, all right, Marie, I'm going to let you have the stage. And then in a little while, when you're done, we're going to come back and do a fabulous giveaway.
All right, that sounds good. All right. Well, hello, everyone. I am Marie, and I'm here with Tonic Studios. And I've been at the Card Maker Summit a few times before, and it's always been a really fun, really great time. So I'm excited to be here again. So like Brandy already mentioned, we have a lot of things that we've put together for you, and I'm going to show you all the goodies, and I'm going to walk you through a card. So we are going to attempt to make this one today. I've got all the steps laid out, so hopefully we'll get through it in time. So I'm going to go ahead, switch you to my overhead camera, and I want to use all the time I can to show you everything we have. So let's go ahead and switch, and I'll start showing you what we have available today, and we'll go ahead and do some crafting. So Tonic has put together quite a few bundles. If you are interested in getting started with any of their products, or if there's just anything that you see that you really like. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through a few of the bundles, and then I'm going to make you a card using one of them, and it's going to be really fun. Now, Tonic is known for all of their Nouveau products that we love to put on cards, but they also have some very cool dimensional die sets. So this is one that they have bundled together. It's a So Crafty die set. You get this very large die set here that will go ahead and help you make this cute little paper sewing spool. And all of these little pieces that I put on here are dies that are included in this set. So it's really fun. You've got the paper, you've got the dies. It comes with a stencil and a stamp set that you can add to a little tag if you want to stick it on there. It's really fun. You can even open this up here. I have a little embellishment that's glued on there, so it's not opening, but you can take the top off of this spool and put some little treats in it or something and give it as a gift. So thought that was really fun. I wanted to show you guys that. So that is one of the bundles. I'm not going to be making anything with that today, but I wanted to show you that that is available if you like doing all of the dies and things. Now here are a few other things that we put together for you. So we have a stamp and stencil bundle, which I'm going to be using today to make a card. And then there's another stamp and die set. So these are really great bundles. If you love stamping and die cutting and making cards and all of those things, aren't these stamp sets just gorgeous? We've got this one here that's very floral, and it's got all of these really kind little thinking of you sentiments. You've got the butterflies here. And then this one is a floral theme as well, but you've got some squares and hexagons and some geometry going on there. So they are great bundles if you're interested in getting some stamps and dies that make all occasion cards. And I think they're just fabulous. I've been having fun with them. I've made some cards out of this one where I've stamped, colored, and fussy cut. We are going to make this card here together in just a minute. So I'm going to set this one aside. And then a few samples for this one here. This one is so pretty, guys. Even if you just stamp this and color it, which is what I did here, and pop up a little sentiment from the dies here. Simple card, really fun to work with if you love all of the coloring. And then here's another one. It even includes this die here that you can cut out a window and put your sentiment behind. And then there's a few other ones here that I've made for you. This one I've kind of stamped and cut out this little stamp here and colored it in some different colors. So you can really change up the look of all of these, and you can have a lot of fun with them. So go ahead and check out those bundles that Tonic's put together. If you like one or the other stamp set more, go ahead and check it out. But we are going to be working with this one today. I just really love the florals here. And I think it's going to be really fun to show you these stencils because I love stencils, but these are layering stencils. So I wanted to show you how this one works. Now, I'm making this card today, so I'm using mostly the stencil on it, But this is a very similar card, which is kind of the same concept, but I used the stamps and I colored them and I fussy cut them and arranged them on here. So stamps or stencils, however you want to do it, it works just fine. And then here's another layering stencil that I'm not using in our time together today, but I can just show you this layering stencil set. There's 3 stencils in here, and it helps you go ahead and layer those colors on to make a beautiful background. So these bundles are just full of all kinds of things for crafting. So I think you're really going to love them if you wanted to head over and check them out. Okay, so now that I've told you all of that, showed you all of that stuff, I'm going to get to the card, and that's what we're all waiting for, right? So the first step that I used to make this card is I just took a blank piece of cardstock, and I'll just show you. You just take a blank piece of cardstock, and I cut it down to an A2 size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I cut one of those down, and I used some masking tape or some craft tape, and I just taped off all of the sides here. So you can see I have a very wide margin on all sides. And then I took some ink and I ink blended. So the ink I'm using today is the Tonic Studios or the Nuvo ink. They have these little ink cubes that come in a trio of colors. So I used this little trio here to go ahead and ink blend my background. And I love how they just put them together in these easy to use trios of color. They just go really well together. So how I made this background is I just took some of the ink blending tools and blended on some of my lightest color first. And I kept a lot of that light color right in the center. And I wanted it to be a little bit darker on the outsides. And that just kind of gives it this illusion that it's kind of glowing from the inside. And I really like that. And then you have the mid-tone color here. So I just wanted to grab that and you put a little bit down around the edges and kind of fill in some of those areas and get some more color on there if you want. And then of course, go in with your darkest color and do some around the edges and really darken up those edges. So the ink that they have in the trio of colors makes it really easy to go ahead and mix and match, but also coordinate your colors together. And of course, with all the bundles that Tonic has put together, they've put together a bundle of inks. Now I used this one here with these 3 shades of green, but they've also put in some other floral colors there and threw in this one, which is like your essentials colors or essentials inks, which is a black, a gray, and an embossing ink. So this is a great one to have in your stash because those are all of your essential inks that you want to use for everything. So go ahead and check out that bundle too if you wanted to try out some of the Nuvo inks. Great price today if you wanted to get started with them. So after you have your background kind of ink blended, the fun part, right, is peeling off the tape to see what it looks like. And I always like to kind of take the tape and just peel it back on itself slowly so that it doesn't tear any paper. So any kind of tape that you have, washi tape or crafting tape should work. And if you do it right up along the edges, all 4 sides, you're going to get perfect margins. They're all going to be even. And it just gives you that really fun pop of color in the middle of your card. Okay, so here's where we're going to start stenciling. Our stencil is going to come in here. Now, if you take a good look at this stencil, if I move my card aside, maybe you can kind of see a little bit better. You can see that we have some leaves here, and then we have some flowers. Now you have 2 kinds of flowers. I'm using the roses today, but you can use these as well. I think they're like maybe a daisy or something, but they fit perfectly in these blank spaces of this layering stencil. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stencil the leaves on the background. And I want it to go across the middle of my little spotlight of color here and just go from corner to corner. I think that just makes some nice movement on the background there and really gives it a really nice look, especially when it kind of goes outside of the borders of this box here. So I'm going to recycle the tape that I had around the side here. I don't want to waste anything to stick down my stencil in place. And what we're going to do for stenciling is we're going to use some embellishment mousse. Now, Nuvo has so many different colors of these. And of course, just like the inks, they've bundled 3 colors together if you're interested in getting started of these. And the whole theme of the colors that we've chosen for you guys today is floral. So you're going to see some greens and pinks and different colors that you can use for floral cards and just that floral kind of color theme. So we have 2 pinks here, a light and a dark, and we have a green. So obviously we're going to use the green for the leaves in the background. So you're just going to take that. Now, once you open it up, there's a little bit of foil that covers the embellishment mousse. I kind of like to leave that on there so that when I put my lid back on, it's a little bit more added protection to help this to stay moist and not dry out. But you could also go ahead and put a little bit of press and seal or saran wrap under the lid as you store it. But this is some really fun medium. Now I'm just scooping out a little bit with my spatula here, putting it right onto my craft mat, and I'm working with it a little bit with my spatula just to get it softened up a little bit. When you first take it out of that container, it might be a little bit more firm, but if you work with it a little bit, it gets nice and creamy and it spreads really well. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just working with it. And then I'm going to pick up as much as I can onto my spatula, and I'm just going to start stenciling. Now, if you want to, you can use some of that tape and tape off some of these flowers on the side so that you don't get any embellishment mousse into those areas, and it just goes where you want it to go. I'm going to live dangerously here for a second and not add any tape and just try to get it where I want it to go. These spatulas do have a good bit of control. And if you don't have a spatula to do stenciling with this, you can use a palette knife or a credit card or whatever you have, piece of cardstock, something with that nice straight edge that can help you smooth this into those openings. So once you have that all applied, what I like to do is scrape off the extra that's sitting on top of that stencil. And I'm just going to put it off to the side. But then you get to slowly peel up that stencil and see what it looks like underneath. So I think that looks really pretty. That light green, you can see all of those leaves going from corner to corner. And I'm going to set this aside, let it dry, but I have another one already prepared that's dried so we can keep moving along with the stenciling. Now this embellishment mousse is really easy to wipe up, really easy to wash off. It does wash off with water, warm soapy water. You can take everything to the sink. You can take your stencil to the sink, your spatula, all of it to the sink and wash it up if you want to. Or if you get to it right away before it dries, it's easy just to wipe it off with a baby wipe, or you can use some water and a spray bottle or something if you have it. Or something that a lot of smart crafters do is they have like a little pan of soapy water that they just throw their stencils in. They keep crafting and then they wash them up properly later. So I don't have that tonight. I'm just using baby wipes and I think it'll work fine. So before I move on to my next color, I'm just going to wipe this off, dry it, make sure it's nice and dry. I'm going to dry my glass mat. Super easy to clean up. And I'm going on to step 2. So here is my dried piece that I have ready for you guys. And we are going to line up our roses and ink blend them on. Now, obviously this big spot here is where the big rose is going to fit into. And then I have these other spots here. So you're going to go ahead and line those up. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I am going to kind of shift it around a little bit. I can see the leaves in the background there, so I can kind of see where they all are and where I want them to be. The stencil does have little dots right next to the flowers. So if you stencil that in, you can line up those dots. But if you don't mind kind of tweaking it a little bit, it's easy to line them up even if you don't use those dots to line things up. So we've got that in place, and I'm going to take my darker pink, or you could probably even call it a red, and I'm going to go ahead and add that on. So just like we did with the green embellishment mousse, I'm going to grab a little bit out of here, work with it on my craft mat, and then I'm going to go ahead and stencil with it. Now, another thing I really love about this embellishment mousse is it dries with sort of a shine to it. It has a shiny finish. So it really does add a nice shine to your projects. Oops, I'm going to try to stay away from the edge and not make this super messy. And just get all of that embellishment mousse right into where those roses are. And then slowly pull it up. And that just looks so pretty, just like that. But we want to add more roses, right? So I'm going to move on to the next step, and surprise, I already have one ready, so we don't have to wait for it to dry. And we're going to add some more roses here. Now, I might get a little bit messy, because since I'm using the same color, I'm not really going to wash my stencil just for the sake of time and moving along here. So I'm just going to wipe that up, and I'm going to turn this around. Maybe I'll turn it this way. That's a little bit easier for me. And these two flowers here, not the biggest one, but these two ones are going to line up on the other side of the center. See how there's these spaces right here for them. So I didn't wash my stencil, so I don't want to make a big mess. But if you're doing this all on one background without the steps dried in between like I have, you would want to let that embellishment mousse dry. Obviously, you don't want to be putting this stencil back over all of the wet ones. So you would want to give it time to dry. And in between that, you could go ahead and wash your stencil. But for the sake of time today, I'm just going to go ahead and keep stenciling on. And I'm adding those last few flowers right on here. And I think that just looks really, really pretty. I love that. So I have to keep in mind that these two bottom flowers are wet, but we're going to keep going on and finishing the rest of our card. So I'm going to wipe up this area here with my baby wipes. And it does clean very well. Now, the embellishment mousse honestly doesn't take all that long to dry. Sometimes I have put it on, gone and worked on a different part of a card and come back later and it's dry. It depends on how thick you put it on. If you put on a really thick layer, it might take a little bit longer. But if you put on a really thin layer, it doesn't take long to dry at all. You can apply it with a spatula, but if you want to put like a little thin layer on your background, with a brush, you can do that as well. I've applied it with stencil brushes in the past, and it just gives it a really fun look to the background of your card. In fact, in some of my sample cards here, this background, I don't know if you guys can see the greenish background there. That is that green embellishment mousse. I brushed it on, and I colored my cardstock with it, and it dries with kind of a sheen. So you can brush it on and color your cardstock backgrounds with it as well. So it's a really fun medium to use for your card making. Really love it. Like I said, there is this bundle available if you guys want to do some shopping today. Otherwise, we're going to move on. I'm going to show you some more things. We have a lot of products here, guys, that we've bundled together. So I want to be able to show them all to you before I run out of time. So I'm going to add some sparkles to this background using some of the Nuvo Sparkle Aqua Brush Shimmer pens, or however they're called. They're the Aqua Shimmer brush pens. So what they are is this part of the marker here is filled with a liquid that's got shimmer in it, and it's got a brush tip. So you could go ahead and brush it right onto your backgrounds. And I have done that with this one here. I went ahead and stamped out some of those flowers, and I just brushed that sparkle on the background of the flowers and colored it with that. And you can see how shimmery and sparkly that is. Really pretty. Or you can go ahead and add some splatters. I love to add sparkly splatters. So I'm just pressing right here on the barrel where it says pressed. And that's going to let you drop out a little bit of this sparkly liquid. And I'm going to pick it up and I'm just going to flick it on my background here. Add some shimmery, sparkly splatters. And this does not take long for it to dry either if you do it this way. So just splattering it on from corner to corner, adding some more fun shimmer in the background. And I think that just looks really good. So that is the blush rosette color. It's kind of a coppery rose gold kind of color. But in the bundle that we have for you, we've got this color and we have just the clear, no, excuse me, that's not the clear. This is the iridescent. So it's got sort of an opal pearly kind of finish to it. And it's really pretty. So if you wanted to try out some of these glitter pens, go ahead and check those out. We've got these two in a bundle for you guys if you want to look at those. So I'll set that aside. Otherwise, this is the front of our card. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in my, I'm running out of room, guys. I'm sure that never happens to you. You get crafting and you run out of your room. Okay, so I'm going to put it in my stamp platform and stamp my sentiment. Here's our sample card and I'm just stamped it down there. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it on this one. Just put it into my stamp platform here. And then I'm going to use my black hybrid ink. This is from Nuvo. It's the same ink that's in those ink cubes that I showed you that's available in a bundle. Excuse me. But it's a bigger ink pad, but it's the same as this one, which is a great ink for stamping your sentiments because it's a hybrid ink. So it's going to be fairly permanent on whatever surface you're going to stamp it on. And it's a really nice black color. So it's going to give you a nice crisp stamp. I think I'm going to use this little sentiment down here. It says, a friendship like ours is rare to find. Excuse me. And I'm just loving all of the stamps and sentiments in this stamp set. There's just a lot of encouraging ones and ones that are a little bit uplifting if you wanted to send a card to somebody. So great stamp set and great sentiments for all kinds of occasions. So just going to ink that up. Go ahead and push it down. I always like to use my sleeve to add a little bit of pressure. I'm going to stamp it one more time. Give a nice crisp sentiment there. And that pretty much finishes this card. If you want to do some more embellishing, you absolutely can. I'm going to grab a few of our Nuvo drops. Now, I don't know if you card makers out there or scrapbookers or crafters are familiar with the Nuvo drops, but they are so much fun to add to cards. They are just a little bit of liquid color and shine. And of course, we have this bundle available for you. We've put together all kinds of floral colors. So if you don't have a collection already, this is a great way to get started with those floral colors. Or if you have a collection already, go ahead and add these to it. But I'm going to use, I think this lightish green goes with that green background we have going on there. This is a soft mint. And I'm just going to open this up and add a few drops to my background. Now, when you're doing Nuvo drops, I always like to start on a separate piece of paper. Now, this is what I just stenciled earlier, and still a little tacky, but it's almost dry. So that shows you how quick this embellishment mousse dries. I like to take this and put a few drops on a separate piece of paper and just make sure it's flowing all right, because if you get an air bubble in there, it's going to kind of burst out and kind of splatter on your project, and we don't want that, do we? Maybe your guys look at a reflection. That might be too bright. Sorry. Trying to adjust my light here for you. Okay. Just let me know if the lighting is going dim on you. I'm using my window light, so don't want it to get too dark on you. But once you see that that Nuvo drops are flowing nicely, go ahead, bring it to your project, and just add some embellishments here or there. Now, these are nice because they are self-leveling, which means they're going to round themselves out into a nice little dome. They don't always leave those little peaks. If you're getting peaks with the embellishment or the Nuvo drops, it might be because they're a little bit cold. Maybe you have to warm them up a little bit. Go ahead and sit on them or stick them somewhere where they'll warm up and then bring them to your project and they'll flow a little bit nicer. So there is that. You can go crazy with these. You don't have to go crazy with these. You can just add a few, but it ends up looking like, when they're dry, ends up looking like little enamel dots or little pearls on your background, on your card. So if I were going to go ahead and finish this off, I would just take a little bit of adhesive and put it on the back and then add it to a card base, and voila, you have a really pretty card that you've stenciled with embellishment mousse and stamped a sentiment on and added some Nuvo drops. Now, like I said, I did use the stamp images as well, and I colored them. And before I run out of time, I want to show you all the other things that Nuvo has for you guys today for just the bundles that they've put together. They've also got some I'm working with embellishment mousse today, so that's on my mind. But if you like embossing, they have an embossing powder bundle. They've got a black and a sparkly white and a sparkly gold. And I love these colors because they are just your basic colors. You can use these on any kind of project. So if you want to get started in embossing powder, this is a great way to go. And here's that gold. It really shines, but if you can see, maybe, it's also got some glittery sparkle in it. So that's that gold with sparkle. And that's just so pretty. I just stamped and embossed all of the flowers around the outside using those stamp sets that we're working with today. So that's available for you if you'd like. We also have some alcohol markers. Nuvo does have alcohol markers if you like to color. And they have some glacier pastes that are all bundled up for you today. Again, in those floral color palettes. So you can go ahead and do all kinds of floral crafting. So here are these 3 colors. I've swatched them out. The glacier paste is really pretty, really shiny. It's smoother than glitter paste because it doesn't have that chunky glitter in it. It's got more of a fine mica, so it's really shiny, really pretty when you swatch it out, let it dry. You can stencil with it, you can brush it on your backgrounds, so that's really pretty if you wanted to go look at that bundle. And then the last bundle we have are these markers. Oh, I wanted to show you this too. This is the glacier paste. It's tone on tone. I used that blue on a blue background, which I thought was really pretty. And then they have the alcohol markers, which are really, really handy for all of your coloring. And I love that, like the inks, they package them in trios. So you have a light, a mid-tone, and a dark color on those markers. And all of my sample cards, where did I put them? I used those markers to color these other samples here. So I used the colors that they have bundled for you today on these 2 cards. You've got some reds and some pinks and some greens and some blues. And we've bundled those all together with you to keep in with the floral theme of today. And all of these different products work together so that you can just have tons of crafting fun with all of them. So that is our card today. That is our Nuvo products that we have for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked crafting along with me. And I hope that gives you a really good look at all the fun things that Tonic has.
Yep,
Oh, no.
I'm muted. Sorry
There we
about
go.
that. So beautiful. Thank you, Marie. That was
Yeah.
really, really pretty cards. Now, I do want to let people know that I know folks are asking about where they find the bundles. Harriet is actually working on that right now, and she will be dropping another link. You can always find the information on Shop the Summit page. I know that Harriet's fiercely typing right now. She's like, I gotta find it. I gotta find it. And then now she's telling me something backstage. Same link, good to go. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, then go to that link right there and see if you can find those bundles. So that way it's easy for them to grab that. Now, just to clarify, the discounted promo code, will it work on those bundles as well?
I believe so. I
Okay.
believe Tonic put the bundles together just for the Card Maker Summit today. So I'm thinking the discount code should work.
Awesome.
And I mean, I wasn't told specifically one way or another, but even if it doesn't, I know they put together the bundles and they're putting them at a really good price.
Yes.
So one way or another, you're getting a deal with all of these bundles.
All right. Harriet's typing me something else. Hold on one second. I'm not sure you're probably going to know this or not, but there's questions about whether the code will work on the UK site. Do you know that?
I would not know that. I mean,
Okay.
go ahead and try it.
Yeah.
I
mean, it doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah.
Maybe it works.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't. I have no idea, but
yeah.
Awesome.
I would definitely try it. I don't know for sure though.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to do this giveaway, and I'm just going to say this is an awesome. Do you know what we're giving away?
I have an inkling of an idea.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't specifically told, but it was hinted at, and I was thinking that sounds fantastic. And I know Tonic is always generous with their giveaways. So
we have look. We have the luxury. I mean, I feel like this handbag is like Michael Kors bag. It's so It's so nice. And I'm telling you that Harriet and I are fighting over it because they always send us one.
They're so pretty and they hold a lot.
Yes, absolutely. So I know that someone is going to be a very lucky winner with that rolling traveling craft bag. So let's go ahead and get to it and give that away. Right. Drum roll. That winner is going to be Angie. Angie's last name starts with an H and ends with a D. Congratulations.
Congrats.
I'm so jealous. All right, you guys, be sure to go and check out those promos that Harriet has put together on the website and use the promo code, test it out, make sure it works with those promos. And if not, then use it somewhere else on the site because it's a pretty good deal. All right. Now we're going to be heading over to see Create a Fabrica in a second. And just want to say bye-bye, Marie. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you for having me. It's always
You're
a good
welcome.
time.
Hope to see you soon.
You too.
Bye-bye. All right. So head on over to the schedule page so you can grab the link to where we're going to be joining Naomi Garcia from Create a Fabrica and seeing all the goodness that she's going to make. All right. See you there. Bye-bye.